Let's kick off the final hour of the show, though, with the race for the Premier League title. And let's start with the league leaders. And for all the talk, Ashley, of bottling it, actually, Arsenal did exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah, it was really impressive the way they came back from the result against Wolves, which was a big kick in the teeth for them. And then everybody, me included, thought, oh, no, they're going to do it again. And they showed up against Tottenham, and granted, Tottenham aren't a very good team at the minute, but they did what they needed to do. And they've looked different this year. I think the whole way through, this Arsenal team have been a little bit different to the previous ones we've seen. And I do think they've got enough strength in depth. They seem strong enough to get it done over the course of the whole season. With that being said, Pep's Manchester City team are masters of what they do. But I just think there seems to be something different in that Arsenal club, actually, the fan base as well, and the dressing room. They just seem a little bit more secure in what they're doing, a bit more confident, and that we're used to saying that they might bottle it, and I can't see it happening this year. For a while now, I thought this Arsenal team might just go and get it done.
Are you seeing a different kind of mentality then from them? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think they're playing. They're still playing to win games, to dominate games, whereas before, I think of previous games in other seasons, and that one where they was ahead and then they lost to Manchester City, and they was almost playing to not lose the game. I think at the minute they're still playing to win games, and that's so important because as long as they keep winning games, they win the title. So we're watching these goals go in now, and they did go after Spurs in the second half, and that's what you want to see from your team. And Mikel Arteta now, I think what's happened is he's had the experience of losing out. And he's learned from those lessons. They've strengthened the squad brilliantly, I think, this season. They've got the best squad in the league, in all, positional-wise, with the number of players that they've got for each position. They can score goals in multiple ways. They seem to have cracked it. I think he's tried to cover all his bases, and that's what you've got to do over the course of a season where you get injuries, dips in form, results like the one against Wolves. He's able to do different things and, play different players in positions, as I said, score different types of goals. I just think that they probably regret these words, but I think they've got enough there to get it done.
Seven wins from their final 10 games. We'll probably see them there, and we're kind of hurtling towards that game at the Etihad now, aren't we? Between Manchester City and Arsenal, that feels absolutely crucial in this could be season-defining, season-deciding title race. It's in Arsenal's hands, though, now, isn't it? And I think that goal right after half-time really settled things against Spurs for Arsenal. If there was any kind of nerves or pressure building within that game, I think that goal right after half-time settled things down for them. And it was a dismantling, really, of Spurs over the weekend. And
was it?
No, go on.
I was say, would you think, in your point of view, a lot of people saying that was Gyökeres's best performance by far. Do you see that? Did you see the stats and think, actually, yes, I think
probably.
That's true.
Yeah, it's 10 Premier League goals now. He's edging towards a total which is going to be probably par for him. I think if we talked about it right at the start of the season, it was kind of how many goals do you think he'll score? And I was kind of around between 12 and 15 for him, and feels like he's probably going to get there. Really good performance. He ran the channels. He's, as Ashley talked earlier, he likes to feel the defender behind him, and I think he had the run of, Dragusin, not good, Palhinha, not good. It's almost difficult to assess performances against that Spurs defence, and I'm trying to word that in the right way.
Yeah.
But Gyökeres was great, and I think he's got all the ingredients. We've seen it. He's got all the ingredients to be a line-leading striker for this Arsenal team, and I think he showed it over the weekend.
Yeah, and they maybe need it against Chelsea because they might be a bit of a wounded animal after what happened with them against Burnley, down to 10 men and drawing with them. They were expected to win that game, you'd think. So this will be a tough ask for Arsenal again. Yeah,
and this is what it takes to win the league. You're going to be asked different questions of your team. So they've got something different now. They had to go and prove themselves after Wolves. Now they've gone and dismantled their bitter rivals. You've got a Chelsea team that, after conceding so late, will be chomping at the bit to get their win and go and topple Arsenal. I just think that, looking at what Arsenal have got attacking-wise against what Chelsea have defensively, again, Arsenal come out on top of that game because they they just seem to have the trump card on every piece of the puzzle in every game, Arsenal. So, you know, it is a difficult game, but I expect this. You know, I think the manager's hell-bent on winning the Premier League, and he's almost obsessed with it, and he's got it nailed.
So is he, though, you'd have to say. Even though he doesn't talk about it as much as perhaps we want him to, you know, his kind of focus this week was all just about Newcastle. We're not even talking about the title. But they got the job done against Newcastle as well, when perhaps Newcastle knocked on the door and asked them questions, but they got it done. Are we seeing, you know, this run that they often go on in January, February, March? Is this what we're witnessing here?
Yeah, and I just think it's come a little bit later than I thought it would. You know, they normally pick up mid-February, January, they just go for it, and then they steamroller teams. We are seeing that now. I think it's come a little bit too late, and I think it's up against this Arsenal team that I've just spoken about. But it is good to see Manchester City, and you know, if you was a betting man, you'd be silly to bet against Pep Guardiola, because he's been brilliant for so many years, and he seems to. This year it hasn't really. He seems like he hasn't found the answer to the problems that he's got in his own squad up until now. So it's going to be that's going to be a massive game. Like, all eyes will be on that game, and that will be the test for Arsenal, I think. But as you say, Pep, you know, as quiet as he has been this season, I think he's been a lot quieter than normal about things, and he's downplayed things. He will still be chasing it as much as Arteta.
Who wins?
Mikel Arteta.
You think?
Yeah, I do this year. And fair play to them. You know, I think they've come so close so many times. For those fans, it's been, you know, so disheartening that, you know, I think at the minute they deserve it. Unless they completely crumble, that guy will be ready to seize the opportunity. But at the minute, I think that Arsenal get it.
Do you think he's won in terms of the mentality as well, what he's done to that Arsenal side in terms of what has happened at Manchester City? They haven't quite got the mentality there at the moment. Yeah,
and I also, this is just my opinion, that I always felt like, you know, the mentor and like there was that thing going on, and I just feel like it maybe's changed a little bit, where earlier on in the season I think Mikel Arteta maybe got in Pep's head, which is surprising. I got that sense a little bit. And now I think Pep's regained his composure and he's got after it. But I'm just not sure if it's come too late. But the mentality of that Arsenal group at the minute is very impressive. I think all the way from the goalkeeper, even when they've lost players, the subs that are coming in, right through to the top of the pitches, they all just seem like one brain. All of it, like, you know, everybody's on the same track, and whoever plays gets the job done.
Is it their strength in depth, actually, Dave, that's actually got them this far?
Yeah, I mean, they have had injuries, haven't they?
They have.
And similar to previous seasons, actually, but that's what they addressed last summer, wasn't it? With depth signings, players that can come in. They've lost Odegaard for parts of the season. They've lost Saliba. They've lost Gabriel for parts of this season. Players, Saka as well, players that have a real crown jewels, if you like, in that Arsenal team. And they've managed to bring in players that have done the job as well. So strength in depth, absolutely key, and that is probably what might see Arsenal over the line.
OK, we'll have to wait and see. OK, time to look at the fight for survival now. Let's take a look at it then. One relegation spot, you'd have to say, I guess, if we're assuming that, sadly, Burnley and Wolves are gone. Does it go that far for you? Or is that it for you? 4 teams and Leeds,
Crystal Palace. Listen, Crystal Palace are not... I wouldn't count them out of it. Yeah, I agree, bottom 2 have gone. West Ham's very interesting, like we've already spoken about. I do feel like they're going to get themselves out of it. Tottenham Hotspur, at the minute, I can't... You can't fathom it, but it is a reality now for them that they...